Have you ever wondered how you would survive if you were lost in the wilderness? Welcome to an exciting exploration of the basics of wilderness survival. In the next few minutes, we'll be delving into 7 vital survival techniques that could mean the difference between life and death in the great outdoors. First, we'll learn how to construct a shelter using the materials nature freely provides. Next, we'll tackle the challenge of finding and purifying water, a key element to human survival. We'll then uncover the art of starting a fire without matches, followed by a guided tour on identifying edible wild plants and insects. As we venture further, we will study basic hunting and trapping methods. We will also discover how to create signals for rescue. And lastly, we'll explore crafting essential tools from the resources around you in the wild. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when you're in the wild. So, let's dive right in. First up, we're tackling shelter building. Now imagine you're out there, in the heart of the wilderness, and night is falling. What's your first line of defense against the elements? That's right, it's a sturdy shelter. A well-built shelter can shield you from wind, rain, snow, and even the scorching sun. Let's break it down. The first thing you need is a good location. Look for a flat area, ideally near a water source but not directly under trees that could drop branches. Next, gather your materials. Fallen branches make an excellent framework. Arrange the branches into a simple lean-to or a more complex A-frame, depending on your needs and the materials at hand. Don't forget insulation. Pile on leaves, moss or grass to keep the warmth in and the elements out. Remember, your survival can hinge on your shelter, so take the time to do it right. With a solid shelter, you've won half the battle against the wild. Next on our survival list is water. Water is the elixir of life, and finding a reliable source is crucial. Streams, rivers, or even dew on plants can serve as water sources in the wild. If you're lucky enough to come across a stream or a river, you've hit the jackpot. But remember, it's not enough to just find water. Water in the wild may contain harmful bacteria and parasites, which can lead to serious illnesses. So it's vital to purify it before drinking. Boiling is one of the simplest and most effective methods. Just get that water bubbling for a solid minute and you're good to go. Another method is using a natural filter. Charcoal, sand, and gravel layered in a container can remove many impurities. Pour the water through your makeshift filter and collect it at the other end. Remember, in the wilderness, water is life. Stay hydrated, stay alive. Fire is not just for warmth, it's a lifeline. Out here in the wilderness, it's your best friend. It provides heat, cooks your food, and wards off predators. And guess what? You don't always need matches to start one. There are several ingenious ways to spark a flame. The first method is using a flint. Striking a piece of steel against a flintstone can create sparks that, when directed onto a dry, fluffy material, can start a fire. But what if you don't have a flint? No problem, you can use the friction method. This involves rubbing 2 pieces of dry wood together until the heat generated causes a spark. This spark can be nurtured into a flame with the help of tinder such as dry grass or bark. Remember, practice makes perfect. It may take a few tries before you can perfect these methods, but once you do, you're one step closer to mastering wilderness survival. Fire up and keep the cold and predators at bay. Hunger can be your worst enemy in the wild. So let's dive into the fascinating world of wild edibles. Edible plants are everywhere, but you need to know what you're looking for. Dandelions, for instance, are fully edible. From flower to root, they're packed with vitamins and minerals. Clover, too, is a common edible plant. You can munch on it raw or boil it up like spinach. Now, onto insects. They are a protein-rich food source. Grasshoppers and crickets, devoid of bright colors, are generally safe to eat. But remember, always cook them first to kill any parasites. Ants and their larvae are edible too, but they can have a bit of a tang due to formic acid. Keep in mind, not all green is good, and not all insects are edible. If you're not sure, play it safe. Remember, when in doubt, leave it out. The wilderness is a bounty, if you know how to tap into it. In the vast expanse of the wild, hunting and trapping are essential survival skills, and understanding the basics can make a world of difference. Let's start with hunting. Safety is paramount. Always check your surroundings and make sure your target is indeed an animal, not a fellow survivor. And remember, hunting is about survival, not sport. Respect for wildlife should always be at the forefront of your actions. Now on to trapping. Traps are a practical way to secure food without expending too much energy. They work while you rest. Simple snare traps using rope or wire are effective for small game. Pitfall traps, dug and covered lightly with foliage, can capture larger animals. But keep in mind, these are survival techniques. Use them responsibly and with respect for the ecosystem you're in. Hunting is a survival skill, not a sport. It's about sustaining life, not taking it unnecessarily. When lost, getting found is your top priority. In the wilderness, your rescue might hinge on your ability to signal for help. It's essential to understand a few straightforward yet effective techniques. Let's start with fire signals. Creating a fire is one of the oldest and most reliable ways to signal for help. 3 fires in a straight line or triangle pattern is an internationally recognized distress signal. But remember, safety first. Make sure your fire is controlled and doesn't spread. Another technique is ground symbols. Using rocks, logs, or anything that contrasts with the ground, create large symbols. The universal distress signal is a large X. Make it as big as possible to be seen from the air. The key is to make your signals large, visible, and unmistakable. Use what nature provides and get creative. The more obvious your signal, the higher your chances of being noticed. Make sure you're seen, and you'll be saved. Tools make tasks easier and survival more likely. In the wild, the ability to create your own tools can be a game changer. It's all about leveraging what nature has to offer. Take a look at stones, for instance. A simple sharp-edged stone can serve a multitude of purposes, from cutting to scraping to hunting. With a little bit of patience and skill, you can shape stones into more specialized tools, like knives or arrowheads. Wood, another abundant resource, is equally versatile. A sturdy branch can be transformed into a spear or a fishing rod, while smaller twigs can be whittled into hooks or needles. And let's not forget about bones. Yes, bones. Animal bones can be shaped into a variety of tools, including awls, needles, or even rudimentary knives. The key is to be resourceful, creative, and patient. Crafting tools from natural resources is no easy task, but with practice, it becomes second nature. With the right tools, you can conquer any wilderness challenge. Survival isn't about brute strength, it's about the will to live, and the knowledge to make it happen. In the vast, unpredictable wilderness, we've uncovered the essential survival techniques that could mean the difference between life and death. We've learned how to build a sturdy shelter using only what nature provides, a sanctuary to protect us from the elements. We've discovered the art of finding and purifying water sources, the lifeblood of survival. We've mastered the ancient skill of fire starting without matches, a beacon of warmth and safety in the cold, dark night. We've explored the world of edible wild plants and insects, turning the wilderness into our very own supermarket. We've unraveled the mysteries of hunting and trapping, becoming participants in nature's cycle rather than mere observers. We've delved into the art of signaling for rescue, turning despair into hope with a simple call for help. And finally, we've crafted tools from natural resources, transforming simple stones and sticks into invaluable survival aids. But remember, knowledge alone isn't enough. Practice is key. These techniques must become second nature, ready to spring into action when survival is on the line. Test your skills in a controlled environment before you need to rely on them in a real-life survival situation. Share this knowledge with those around you. It's not about fear, but about preparation. It's about understanding that we are part of nature, not separate from it. It's about respecting the wilderness and our place within it. So take these lessons to heart, practice them, share them, and remember them. They are not just techniques. They are a way of life, a testament to our human resilience and adaptability. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more survival tips. Stay safe and stay wild, folks.